Hi, it's David from Lumicrest Lighting Solutions. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to change the optical lenses, the Apturi lens, on our line of par lights and the integrated track head. Before I do that, I'm just going to talk for a moment about why it's so important to have optical control by controlling the beam angle. Obviously, spotlights and floodlights exist for a reason. A floodlight is great for illuminating an entire space, washing an entire wall, whereas a spotlight is really meant for highlighting a specific object or a group of objects to draw attention to that and not to the surrounding things. Now, if you use the wrong beam angle, you're going to get the wrong effect. So that let's say you're using a narrow beam where you should be using a flood, you're going to end up with pools of light on the floor. Let's say you're trying to illuminate a space like a kitchen or a retail store and you just want general lighting, or in your basement, and what you end up with is a little pool of light here and a pool of light here and a pool of light here and darkness in between. So choosing the right beam angle is really critically important to getting the right kind of lighting effect that you're trying to achieve. Because face it, LED lighting or any kind of lighting, it's not just about saving energy, it's about getting the right lighting effect. It's very important. So with the par 20s, we have a choice of 25, 35, or 60-degree beams. This one that's in here will be a 35-degree beam. It's a medium beam, and it's useful for most general applications. So I'm going to just pop this out here and put in a 25-degree lens. So the way we do that, there's three little tabs that are in this clear ring surrounding the lens. And I'm going to take the screwdriver. You could use a key, you could use something like a letter opener, any small implement, and I'm just going to press on the tab, squeeze it inward here, and pop out the lens ring and the lens. So I'm going to separate the lens ring so you can see it. Clear piece of plastic with three little springy tabs. And those little tabs go into three small holes here on the inside of the heatsink housing. So now we just pick up our 25-degree lens. And the question is, how can you tell what the beam angle is on the lens? Part of it is that the back structure of the lens is much smoother for the narrower beams. So there's not so much of the bumpy effect. But the beam angle is also written on there, so it's cast into it. So there it says 24 degrees. It's actually called a 25-degree lens, but written on it is 24 because beam angle science it's not an exact measurement, so we just call it 25 degrees. And likewise, the 35-degree lens is engraved with 38 degrees. So don't be thrown off by that. But in any case, you should be able to see if your eyes are really good. Very small number 24 here or a number 38 here. On the other lenses for the par 30s, we have also 15 and 20-degree lenses. Okay, so back to the task at hand. We're just going to drop this lens right on top the LED inside. We just let it sit there, and we're going to align these three tabs to the holes that they came out of, and going to go click, 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 and the lens is installed. If you don't hear the clicks, maybe it's not quite rotated properly, so you can just kind of spin that lens ring around with your screwdriver until they're aligned with the holes and click it in securely. So it's pretty much as easy as that. The great thing is if, say, you're working in an art gallery and you've got an exhibition of a lot of small pieces, you might have narrow beam lenses, and in another case you might have a few larger pieces, and you might want to switch that to 35-degree beams to accommodate those larger pieces. You don't have to now go and change the entire light bulb or buy a second set of light bulbs with different beams. You can actually change the lens optics. It's very handy to do that. On the par 30, this is our brand new Apturi par 30 model. Similar process. This gray outer ring is going to pop off with a pry it gently with the screwdriver, and you're going to have a lens ring with 4 tabs, which go into the 4 holes here. And the Apturi lens is just going to pop out like that. In this case, there's a little loose plastic reflector goes behind that can just sit in there. I'm going to change this one to going to just peek at that 38 degree, 35 degree lens. What you need to be careful of on the par 30 and the 38, and with the integrated head, first of all, some of the lenses have little 4-leg feet on them. Not all of them, but if they have feet, they have to go into the little holes surrounding the LED. As well, there's a notch between 2 pairs of these feet, if you look at that carefully. And that notch is designed to go over top of the wires which connect to the LED. And that allows it to sit down nice and flush. And we take this lens ring and we're going to put it back, align it with the holes, and snap it in place. But first I have to actually align it with the holes. There we go. So now, par 30 lens swap just like that. Par 38 is a bit trickier because there's several pieces to the structure here. We have to unscrew the outer ring. Sometimes it's a bit tight. I'm going to unscrew the outer ring. I'm going to take off the plastic fitting. We're going to take off this little reflector that we have here. And finally, the lens can come out. Some of the par 38 lenses are a little bit different. They've got this light pipe that sticks upward. We use the light pipe on the 38 or 35 and the 60 degree lenses because we have a reflector. So the light pipe sends the light out the side a little bit into the reflector and actually kind of broadens the beam and gives a little bit more edge spill. We don't use the light pipe for the narrower beams because the whole point is to keep the beam small and tight. So take this out and we're going to put in, well, there's another medium beam, 35 degrees. That one should have a light pipe, so I'm going to go to this 20 degree here. Again, being careful to align the feet into the holes and the little notch over top of the connecting wires. There we go. Assemble this back in reverse order and screw the lens ring back on. Okay. So we've just done a lens conversion on the par 38. Sometimes the lenses are a slightly different physical size, so on the 15 degree you may find that the lens rattles around a bit. This one's pretty tight, but if that's the case, that's completely normal. And finally, the integrated track head. This is a brand new product for us. So we have, now we don't have a light bulb type structure. We've got something, if you're using a track light, you have an LED and the power supply and the track head all integrated into a single unit. It's very slick, actually. Here you just unscrew the front. So the whole heatsink structure is here. The LED's here. Again, this has plastic reflector. And pick another lens. Again, be careful to find the little notches to go over the wires. And drop that in place. And now we have to thread the front ring back on. There we go. Oopsie. Okay. So we do sell lenses separately. So if you want to have a store of alternate lenses. You can buy them from us. Again, 25, 35, and 60 degree in par 20, and the other units have 15, 20, and 60, 15, 20, 35, and 60 degree for the larger size lights.